Debbie, I got to get your opinion on Kim Davis and the situation in Kentucky. What do you think of the matter? There are a few directions we can go with this.
First, I want to talk about what some other people are saying about her, because that's what bothers me. Hillary Clinton, and I tweeted about this yesterday, if you go to my Twitter account.
DebbieSchlussel.com also, but you're not on that.
Right.
Okay.
Or Debbie Schlussel. Yesterday, Hillary Clinton said that public officials must obey the law. And she was referring to Kim Davis, who, by the way, is a fellow Democrat of Hillary Clinton's.
Oh.
Yes, Kim Davis is a Democrat. And I think it's interesting. By the way, she is not the only county clerk in Kentucky that refuses to issue certificates for gay marriage. There are two others, and I believe they are also Democrats as well, but I will have to check on that to make sure.
Really? Kentucky's weird with Democrats, though. Sometimes it's the only game in town, and this is related to a government job, which she obviously didn't want to give up and start working at McDonald's or Chick-fil-A.
Right, but I want to point out what I pointed out on Twitter yesterday, and it did get a lot of buzz. Hillary Clinton is saying public officials must obey the law. She was referring to her fellow Democrat Kim Davis. The problem is that when it comes to immigration law and deporting illegal aliens, she's saying public officials must not obey the law.
Of course.
Because if they did, we would be deporting these people. So she's a big hypocrite. So I don't understand. Gay marriage, yes, you have to follow the law and the Supreme Court decision. And actually, that was a law that in almost every state people voted to abolish gay marriage and to prevent it, to prohibit it. This was a Supreme Court decision. It was 9 people that decided that law. And actually less than 9 of them decided in favor of it.
Yeah.
But then you have laws that were voted on by our elected officials and that have been on the books for many years, have not been overturned, regarding immigration law. There's many of them, and none of them are being followed, and nobody cares. And nobody's putting in any of these people who are running immigration and customs enforcement in jail for this. So, I don't think you get to pick and choose which laws you get to enforce. But if it's okay not to enforce some of the laws, then why is it not okay to not enforce others when they violate your religious beliefs, as is the case with Kim Davis? Now, they could have in Kentucky passed a law that allowed a deputy clerk or somebody else to sign off on these gay marriages if they wanted to. They don't. This woman should not be put in jail. She's a prisoner of conscience. That's basically what she is, because she's being put in jail for obeying her religious beliefs.
Wait, Debbie, we're both lawyers. You're obviously much more involved in actually practicing law than I am, but she's in jail for contempt of court, which is not the same as, a prisoner of conscience.
That's true.
You could be in there for contempt of court for some simply, not showing up or not obeying a judge's order in a divorce case. I mean, that's
absolutely correct.
Let's be honest.
However, what she's done that's in contempt of court is failing to issue these certificates for gay marriage.
Right.
And the reason she's not doing that is directly because of her religious beliefs. So she is really, literally being put in prison for obeying her religious beliefs.
No.
Now, I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, you go ahead. I'm interrupting. Sorry.
All right, now I was going to say that if your religious beliefs are you have to murder someone, that's a different thing. But in terms of this, these gay couples could have gone to any other county. They decided not to because they want to fight a war with Christians and show Christians that they've beaten them. They could have gone to any other county in Kentucky. Like I said, there were only 2 other clerks that have decided not to obey the law.
Did they live in that county? Were they residents of that county?
I don't know, but I believe that they do.
Okay.
But even if they did not, they could have gone to another county. Instead, they've chosen to show up every single day and harass this woman and get this going. Now, I do believe in following the law. If I were in that position, even though I oppose gay marriage and so on, I would have issued the certificates. But that's me, and that's my conscience, and so on.
Well, you're also a Jew, and we're obligated to follow the laws of the country we're in, regardless if it's Torah law.
Unlike Islam, by the way, which
but I mean that's a critical difference.
During the land in which they live.
Yeah, but that gives us a sort of out if we were in that position. I mean, the reality is.
But I still would have, even if there wasn't a religious dictate, I would do that because I do believe, I'm a loyal American, and I do believe that you have to obey the law. Unless,
Right.
Something like you have to murder someone or rape someone or torture someone, I'm not going to do that.
Yeah, but my view against of opposition to homosexuality is not some visceral hatred of it. It's because the Torah says so, and it's the same Torah that says that.
I have a lot of gay friends and colleagues. I work with a lot of gay people. I have gay clients. I'm libertarian on the issue as far as what they choose to do behind closed doors.
Yeah, I'm with you.
I just don't believe in gay marriage. I think marriage is between a man and a woman. Now, that's not to say that I don't believe in civil unions, because I do believe that, look, we are in a society now where there are lots of gay people that are living together. There are legal issues, and I think civil unions is fine, but not marriage. It's
Right.
a completely different thing. Still, I respect that when the Supreme Court says you have to do something, you got to do it. But I'm not her. She has religious beliefs. She's a Christian. I'm not a Christian. And she believes that her religion prevents her from doing that, fine. And, a lot of people have said on Twitter, or in other places, she knew that her religious beliefs were going to conflict with her job. She should have never run for clerk. Well, that's not correct, because she didn't know that. When she ran for office was before this Supreme Court decision that was just issued months ago, or a month or two
Right.
ago. So it wasn't something that she expected was going to happen.
That's a great
So
point.
is she supposed to resign from her job? I don't think so.
Yeah, because of this one particular thing. No, it's a really interesting thing. I mean, if she were a government appointee who was just sort of, getting the nice government pension later on, and that would be a different matter. But that's an interesting point.
I mean, look, we've had public officials like Hillary Clinton who disobeyed laws regarding security at embassies, and people have died from that. Nobody died because this woman refuses to issue these certificates. They could go somewhere else. They could be inconvenienced. They shouldn't be inconvenienced. I don't think they should be, but they could go somewhere else. They would have been married already, and so on. They're doing this to, fight Christianity, and they're not going to be happy until what they want is the dominant law of the land. Now, what happens when there's a Muslim...
Wait a minute, Debbie, though. I mean, I don't think it's the same as harassing a bakery, a Christian bakery, so you can get a wedding cake. They do live in there, and they want to get married.
A bakery is a private business, and she is a public official, so it is different. I agree with you. Government is different than if I open a business and I want to be able to do things as I see fit, and while I'm not allowed to discriminate under the law, I don't think I should have to bake a cake for something if I don't want to. If I had a bakery, would I bake a cake for a gay wedding? I don't know. Probably wouldn't want to, but I don't know if I would refuse to do it.
Parnassa is Parnassa.
Well, and for those who are listening, Parnassa is the Hebrew and Yiddish term for salads.
Making a living, yeah.
Making a living. And the thing is that I might do it, I don't know. I probably wouldn't want to, and I'd feel weird about it. But people have different levels of comfort on what they do, and religion is a very personal thing. This woman should have just been able to appoint somebody else to do things she can't do. I don't know if she feels that's against her moral religious obligations. I don't know. But I just think that there are people in government who have done much worse things, and not out of religious beliefs, and nobody cares. And
right.
I care more that people were killed at the embassy in Benghazi than this. I just think that there's really a lack of understanding for this woman, and it's coming from the same people who are always telling us to be tolerant of religion when it happens to be the Islamic religion. How we're supposed to understand them when they behead people. We're supposed to understand them when they shoot up military bases and military recruitment centers. We're supposed to understand them when they want separate hours for swimming at pools at Harvard for men and women. We're supposed to understand them when they want to work at Abercrombie and Fitch and wear their hijab, even though it violates the Abercrombie and Fitch look policy. We're supposed to understand them every step of the way, no matter how violent it is or whatever. But we're not supposed to understand this woman. We're supposed to pillory her and mock her like is being done. And the other thing is, I wonder what would happen if, let's say she was a Muslim clerk in Wayne County, Michigan. She said she didn't want to do this. Do you think that they would lock her up for contempt of that? They wouldn't. that. You
But
have to say we have to
I
follow
bet she would have just, if she were Muslim, she probably would have just reassigned it to someone else. Realistically, she would have just not done it.
I'm not so sure about that. Maybe she would have. Maybe she would have. I don't know about that. There are some Muslim officials in Wayne County, Michigan, which is the home county to Dearborn, Michigan, the area with the largest most concentrated Muslim population outside the Middle East. And Muslims have been able to do a lot of things that I don't think we would tolerate from Christians, and they are public officials. And I'm going to actually be talking about some of that on my website in future weeks, but I can't talk about it yet because I've hired a lawyer, and we're going to be filing some lawsuits, and some interesting things are going to be going on. And I can tell you that people are doing things that are against the law to help Islam, and nobody cares.